your 413 here back in the day, and today, guys, we are here to review this, the 2019 Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. And the one thing that we know about it is, of course, it is an Aston Martin, which means that it is very, very pretty. On the front end, we get a few new aerodynamic bits, as well as a much larger, more modern, luxurious style grille, very similar to what we see with the Lexus. As well, on the roof, it gets carbon fiber, as well as a titanium exhaust to help it lose a couple of lbs. In the engine bay, the turbos get tuned up a little bit, giving it a little bit more than 100 horsepower. Up from the DB11 608 horsepower, it's now sitting at 715, while also getting a boost of almost 150 pound-feet of torque from 516 in the DB11 to 663 pound-feet of torque in the Superleggera. Now, Aston Martin claims that this car's main rival is going to be the Ferrari 812 Superfast, which has about another 70 horsepower over top of this car. Honestly, I don't really see how this car is going to be competing with that. Honestly, it's honestly a no-brainer. The Ferrari is going to take it. But the thing is, though, is really, overall, I think the Superfast moniker would make more sense on the DBS Superleggera than the Superleggera moniker. Superleggera means super light. Thing is, though, is this car is not very light. It keeps a lot of the modern luxuries that are found in the DB11. It has radio, it has AC, it's got all the nice fancy bits. In fact, it only goes from 4,134 pounds in the DB11 down to 3,966 pounds in the Superleggera for a grand total of about 170 pounds, which maybe would be like kicking out your American girlfriend. Really, that's all it loses. It really doesn't lose that much weight. So why are they calling it a super light? That's something that we're going to have to find out today when we review this car on the track. So starting things off, because the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera is based on the DB11 and costs $100,000 more than the DB11, we decided to go ahead and put a benchmark time down for the DB11 here at the festival circuit to see what it could do. And it came out with a 41.208. Now let's see what the DBS Superleggera can do. So driving around here in the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, it doesn't feel half bad. It definitely feels like it could use a little bit of suspension work, as well as being a little bit more well planted to the ground, because you see, we're able to get the tail out fairly easily, and that's a lot easier than we were able to do with the DB11. Now, the DB11 is still a very powerful car with over 600 horsepower, but the extra 100 horsepower here in the DBS, as well as the extra 100 pounds or so of lightness, it really does make it get a little bit tail happy, as we'll go ahead and demonstrate right here. You can really get the back end out and send this thing a-drifting. It's actually really quite good, though, overall. You know, setting lap times, as you can see right here, just sort of a little practice lap, we're already ahead of the DBS, and we haven't even really got to the quick laps yet. So I will go ahead and do some quick laps, and we'll find out what this car can do. But overall, though, I think that this car is relatively nice. You know, it's got a little slidiness going on with it. You know, it could really use a nice race tune, which we're going to go ahead and test out right after this. So after shutting up and focusing on the actual car itself, we were able to pull off a 39.706, a whole 2.5 seconds faster than the DB11. So the question remains, though, is 2.5 seconds really worth an extra $100,000 on the price tag? Well, let's go ahead, throw a tune on this bad boy, and see what it can actually do. Alright, so we got the tune now. It's actually doing really really quite well in my opinion. I actually quite like it, and it's something that I'll probably use in the future. It is still rear-wheel drive. I didn't really change any of that, but I did go ahead through on race suspension, lightened it up a little bit, and added a little bit more power. And as you guys can see, the performance is already better than what it was originally, as we've already dropped about almost another second off of our time from what the original one was. And again, that was a slow lap. That was our first lap around the track. Now, I was talking on that last one, so we weren't able to really get a really quick lap time in. But overall, tuning this car, it doesn't feel half bad at all. Now, we'll have to go ahead and see how this thing can do on an actual quick lap. And there you have it. After running a few laps of the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera with an S1 tune on it, we're able to come out with a 36.67 lap time. That is actually really quite good, especially compared to the regular DBS and the DB11. From the DB11, we're down 6 entire seconds, and from the DBS, oh my gosh, we're down 3 whole seconds off of its fastest time. This is actually a pretty damn good tune in my opinion. Honestly, I'm going to keep this tune. If you guys want to download it, you're able to go ahead and pick it up in the auto show. But there is one last thing I do want to do. So this is the Ferrari 812 Superfast. Supposedly the DBS Superleggera's main rival. With 80 more horsepower than the Superleggera, honestly, I don't really see it. But we're going to have to go ahead and test things out for ourselves. Now, driving around here in the 812, it is honestly actually more well-planted than the stock Superleggera. However, though, I will say the PI on this car, which is stock, is almost as much as what we had for our tuned Superleggera that we just tested. Honestly, it is absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. I love this car. I think it looks absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. It is absolutely stunning. And, of course, it is a Ferrari. It has that racing pedigree, and Aston Martin does too. But, really, I feel like Ferrari gets it just a little bit more than the Aston Martin. You know, the Ferrari is designed and developed and works off of F1, where really the Aston Martin, I just feel like, is built by a bloke in a shed somewhere in the United Kingdom. Honestly, both of these cars are absolutely amazing. But overall, does the DBS really stand a chance against this? Let's go ahead and do some quick laps and find out. So there we have it. We went ahead and did a couple of quick laps here in the Ferrari, and we were able to come up with a 37.404, which absolutely destroys the DBS Superleggera. Now, the tuned version, you know, was able to go ahead and still beat the Ferrari. However, though, the thing is, though, this is a completely stock Ferrari. This has not had any tune, has no upgrades whatsoever. It is 100% stock, and it has just mopped the floor with the Aston Martin. So there you have it. That was the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. Now, in my honest opinion, we saw that the Ferrari 812 Superfast is, of course, much better. And if you were to take both of these cars and line them up and ask me which of these cars is faster, I'm of course going to point to the 812. We just proved that it is faster. But the thing is, though, is if you ask me which of these cars do you actually want, I think I would be hard-pressed to pass up on the Aston. Because the thing is, the Aston Martin is still an exceptional car. It has 700 horsepower. It has aircon. It is absolutely stunningly beautiful. And it's just a car that I would love to someday own. The thing is, you don't necessarily buy an Aston Martin for the fact that, you know, it's super fast. It's the best in its class. You don't buy it for that reason. You buy an Aston Martin because you want to live out your James Bond fantasy. That's why you do it. You buy the Aston because you want to be James Bond. You want to pull up to the bar, walk in, wearing your nice fancy suit and say, Martini, shaken, not stirred. That's the only reason that you buy an Aston. Because if you really wanted performance, you would just go straight to Ferrari. Now, of course, the Ferrari does cost $50,000 more dollars, where, you know, the DBS costs $300,000, the 812 costs $350,000. However, though, I think the real winner of today is neither of these. And in fact, it's actually the DB11, because the DB11 only costs $200,000, is absolutely stunningly beautiful, and still has enough power to be fun. So that's where we're going to go and wrap things up for today. Leave a comment down below and let me know, what would you rather have, the Ferrari 812 Superfast or the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera? Leave a comment down below as I'm curious to hear what you guys got to say. As well, if you want to, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at twitter.com/Curve13 and Instagram.com/Curve13. And if you guys like this video, go and make sure to hit that like button down below for us, because you guys already know your support is so greatly appreciated. And make sure to subscribe for more videos coming out all the time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.